Hi friends, today we're going to work on the Home is Where My Plants Are hutch from the Rust Covered Cottage by Christina. I love these hutches. They are so quick to paint and they're just so relaxing. I can get home from work and I can paint one and still have time to cook dinner, clean up after dinner, all the things. So I am putting my little pieces on my sticky board. I'm trying to categorize them by the colors that I'm thinking of painting them, but nothing's set in stone. So I'll move some around later. So I'm gonna go in with my terry cloth covered sponge and kind of stain or glaze a few of the pieces, and I even very carefully stained some parts of pieces. And then I went in with my paintbrush to go around the little fishbowl just because I didn't want to stain the whole thing. I just wanted to darken up those outside edges. Then I'm gonna hit the easel on one side. I'll set that aside to dry, and then I will stain the back side. And then I'm going to go in with Vintage Flair. I love this deep blue color. It is just so rich and beautiful. And this one is Paint Couture. The Van Dyke Brown is also from Paint Couture. This one is a mineral acrylic. So the color is really rich and it has a top coat built into it. I'm just gonna do one coat today because I want it to kind of have that aged, worn down look. But I am gonna paint the fishbowl, the lamp, a couple of the books, and just some things here and there because I kind of want that blue to carry throughout the items on the shelves. Then I'm gonna go in with Pitch Black. This is another mineral acrylic from Paint Couture. And just hit the frame and hit the little pot. And then I'm gonna add some stripes to that lamp base. And then later on, I'm gonna come back in and I'm gonna paint the heart on the plant stand. But I want to go in with Vera at the Ballet. I love this soft pink. It's another mineral acrylic from Paint Couture. So I painted the coffee cups and then I used my weeding tool from Cricut, or, you know, I have several knockoff ones from the Dollar Tree, and I just cleaned out some of those score lines so that you could still read what was on the cups. And then I painted the pot for the flower and one of the books. I'm gonna scrape out some of those little score lines. It's best to do that while the paint is wet. It just works better. So I'm gonna get the flip side of the easel and then I will put away my stain and my sponge. And I'm gonna go in with 2 shades of green. I am in love with Autumn Sage. This one is in the chalk style. I have it also in the mineral acrylics. I love both. The chalk style is sometimes better for distressing and like if you're going to sand it down, things like that. But if you want that bolder, richer, built-in top coat, then the mineral acrylics are for you. So I'm gonna do a base coat of the Autumn Sage on a couple of the plants and 2 of the books. On the largest plant, I'm gonna do a base coat of Basil. This one is a mineral acrylic. And there, I remembered I needed to get that little heart painted. And then I'm gonna go in with the other color. So if my base was Autumn Sage, I'm doing accents with Basil. If my base was Basil, I'm doing accents with Autumn Sage. And just kind of brushing it over and giving it some more dimension to each of those tiny little pieces. I love how that big plant turned out. If I got it too heavy, I just wiped it back with my finger. I do that a lot. And I'm going to go in with a new color that I just recently got from Paint Couture, from Christina's Paint Couture stash. This is Angelic. It is a really nice off-white. And I'm using my sponge roller to get that over the back just because it doesn't go in the grooves quite so much. But I'm still going to go through. I want my score lines to be very apparent and have that shiplap look to the back of the cabinet. So I am still going to go over those lines. I did kind of pop out of the line and have to redo a little bit of the paint, but that's no big deal. Then I'm going to go in with Debi's DIY Apothecary. This is a clay-based paint, so you want to shake it up really, really well. This is the only clay-based paint that I have. I got this one to try, and y'all, I'm loving it. Especially this color. It is just beautiful. One thing I will say is that as it dries, the color does change. So in this instance, it is going to lighten up a lot. Now I'm going to go in with Truffle, and I got these new like dotting tools. I think it's for like the dot art. And I matched up the ends with the knobs, and I'm tapping it in my Truffle and then tapping it over on. I really like that dotting tool. It made it more consistent. I need to practice with it a little bit more though. But I got that off of Amazon. And now I'm going to go in. Y'all know I love my Debi's DIY Dark Wax. And I am going to distress all of my pieces. If I got too much, I just wipe it back. Now I've got all my little pieces are finished, so I'm going to go in with my Dead Flat Top Coat from Paint Couture. Love, love, love this top coat. It takes out all the shine, which the mineral acrylics do have some shine to them. I like matte look, so that's why I use that. Now I'm going to go in on my shiplap and add just some distressing there. And then go over that with my Dead Flat, let that dry. And then I am distressing around the hutch. Got a little too much in some places, so I used my well-loved baby wipe to wipe that back. And I wanted to make sure that my knobs were very dry before I went to distress them. I didn't want to smear it. And then I'm distressing around each of the drawers and the cabinets, and then the actual bottom piece of the hutch as well. It just really adds dimension, and I don't know, I just like texture and dimension. That's my thing. And it really does not take long, promise. Now I'm going to go over all that, and you could kind of see where it had lightened up when it was dry, and it darkened back up with the top coat. But as the top coat dries, it's going to lighten back up. So I'm going to hit that with a dryer, and then it's time to put it together. I'm going to use my art glitter glue, which I love because it gives a really good bond. It doesn't take much to get that good bond. It dries clear, and it does not make your fingers sticky and crusty. You also have a little bit of wiggle room. After you put something down, you can still move it around. And you'll see when I put the letters for home in the frame and I actually glue them down, that I do wiggle them around to get them into the position that I want within that frame. So I'm just sitting all the pieces on there and deciding exactly how I want. I didn't know really how I wanted the towels to hang on the drawers, so I wiggled them around a little bit. And then I like to just start at the top and work my way down. Of course, I totally skipped that middle shelf. It's a good thing I realized it before I tried to pick it up. But here's where I'm going to put those letters in. And at first I kind of had them in the center, and then I didn't want them in the center, so I just moved them down, and then I did not have them spaced evenly, so I wiggled them around. No problem. And now I'm going to get that beautiful stool and plant. I'm going to hold that for just a second because it does kind of hang off. And that's when I realized I hadn't glued that middle shelf. So I'm going to get that done. And then there you have it. I love it so much. And then there's my easel for it. So pretty. There it is out in the sunshine. You can see how that clay paint dried up nicely. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe it. Thanks for watching. Bye.